I think a lot of people here in Thailand saw the US-backed anti-government protesters rebrand themselves again this week. They seem to do this once or twice a month at least. This time, they're using this hammer and sickle looking RT logo, which they claim means to restart Thailand or reform Thailand. They also claim that their protest will now have no leaders, no guards, no stages, no negotiation, and only one demand. And I think it's obvious that demand will be to abolish the monarchy or for a republic of Thailand, what the RT actually most likely means. But really, at this point, it doesn't even matter. Because as far back as Thaksin Shinawatra and his red shirts in 2009 and 2010, it was obvious the US-backed Thai opposition wanted to attack and remove the monarchy. So this is nothing new. And these most recent mobs are simply the latest bad sequel of this agenda. Now, the constant rebranding, this is because the anti-government protests are constantly trying to pretend to be anything but what they actually are. The communist tone of the logo, this is just ridiculous. This is a movement taking money from Wall Street and Washington, a movement that is being backed by billionaires like Thanaton, who previously busted unions at his family's factory business, and a movement that is openly anti-Chinese. So communism, just like democracy was, it's just another thing they're hiding this agenda behind, which is an agenda for their billionaire opposition backers and their agenda as foreign agents working on behalf of U.S. special interests. Now, this business of no leaders, no guards, no stages, no negotiations, that sounds like a movement out of control, or a movement deliberately creating the conditions for extreme violence and chaos. And so ask yourself, does Thailand really want a movement that, even before coming to power, can't organize simple, peaceful protests, or a movement that can't even pick a name or an agenda and stick to it for more than a month? Remember, the protests started by protesting against the current government. Then they dragged the monarchy into it, claiming they wanted to reform it. And now they're openly calling for the monarchy to be abolished. So this is not a protest. It's not even a revolution. It's just a political wrecking ball being used to divide and destroy the country. And because their agenda is so absolutely unappealing, they have to keep trying to reinvent it and resell it pretty much every month. And because of all of the backlash they're getting now for this most recent rebranding, they're probably going to rebrand again. And it says a lot about the lack of judgment amongst the Thai opposition's leadership. And this is very similar to other US-backed groups around the globe, because think about it. Who would betray their country and work with the US in the first place? Especially after seeing what the US did to so many other countries like Iraq, Syria, Libya, Ukraine, and even Hong Kong. Only the worst sort of people in society would get involved in that. And these are the sort of people who do things that require constant covering up, constant spin. And just look, this constant need to constantly rebrand. So Thai people and friends of Thailand need to keep the pressure up on these US-backed protesters and on the corrupt billionaire-led opposition hiding behind them, and of course, keep pressure up on these US-funded NGOs helping move all of this along. And because the opposition is starting to fray, keep an extra close eye on them, because a desperate opposition is a dangerous opposition. If you thought this video was useful, please like and share it. Subscribing to my channel really helps the channel grow, and I really appreciate that. Please check the video description below for references as well as links for ways to help support my work, including my Patreon account. Through Patreon, not only are you able to help support my work monthly, but you also get benefits and extra content in return. To those of you already helping out, thank you so much, and as always, thank you for watching.